Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. This is going to be assignment 7 tonight. So you'll just need to go to Canvas. There are some instructions here. So for those of you in the online section of the class, you'll follow along the instructions that I'm going to be going over at this first link here. So just follow the directions. Once you get these in Excel, you'll be able to type in the values into this Canvas quiz here for each of these. And there is a data file that you can work with. And you should be able to download that file. And this should be the same file for you too, as well. Were both of you able to get that file? Okay. So that's step 1 in the versions there. Step 2 would be to save the file somewhere where you can find it. So file, save as, wherever you want to put it. Last name dash assignment 7 is the format that it's looking for there. So whatever your last name is, assignment 7. And we're going to use the information in step 3 in order to get there. So house sale price, $196,900. Down payment, 10%. The APR for the 15-year one is what percentage? Yep, the 15-year APR.
6.125%.
6.125%. Now, when you type that in, Excel may round it to a certain digit. If you want to, you can add more digits by going to the increase decimal button, which is up here on the screen. Any questions on step 3? Were you both able to get those values there?
Yeah, my stuff just isn't
Okay.
working.
Let's just see what it looks like.
I think I might have figured out, is that right for a second yet? It would want
Uh,
so. Okay.
So I think what we'll do here, I'll walk you through the 15-year one, which would be problem 1, and then you'll be able to do problem 2 on your own then. But it'll follow a similar pattern. So for problem 1, step 1, enter the values, which we did above. In cell H2, so the one right next to the down payment, enter a formula to compute the amount of your down payment. How do you think we could get that? Or it would be based on working with what numbers there?
196,000.
196,000. So we want that number. So what I would do is equals, and then I would just get that value from that cell over there. So D2. And it's going to involve the down payment percentage.
So that would be 10%.
Yep, so we'd have to multiply that by 10%. So to do that, for multiplying, it's going to be the star, which is going to be shift, and then the 8 to get the star, times the value in that cell, 10%. So equals D2 times D3. Enter for 19,690. From there, to get the loan amount, it would just be whatever's left over after we make the down payment. So that would be equals
So we would just, sorry, I'm trying to catch up.
Mhm.
So we subtracting the house price from
the house price from the. Yep, so house sale price, and then minus the down payment. So equals D2 minus H2. Enter. So we're going to get a loan amount of $177,210. Okay, both of you good there? Okay, the rate per compounding period. If we assume that it's going to compound monthly for this loan, what would N be in the compound interest formula?
12.
12. So we're going to do equals and then this APR amount. So the 6.125% divided by 12. So equals D4 divided by 12. Enter. From there, NPER. This is going to relate to how many years are we taking the loan out for?
15.
15. How many times does it compound per year? 12. So equals 15 times 12. So NPER is going to be 180 payments. Then in cell H6, so this would be step 6 on the directions that I gave you. It says use the equals what function?
PMT function.
Equals PMT or payment function. Parentheses. The first one that it wants is rate. So that would be which cell there?
0.01.
0.01, which would be in cell H4, it looks like. Then NPER would be 180. So the one right below it in cell H5. The present value or the starting amount of the loan would be 177,210, H3, comma, FV is the amount that we want the loan to get to. So if we want to pay the loan off, we want the balance to be 0. And then the last thing here is the type. Let's just assume end of the period, so another 0. Parentheses. Now the only thing when you hit enter here, it's going to spit out a negative value. Like that. All you have to do is just put a negative sign in front of that formula to make that positive. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, from there in cell F13, we need to enter the loan amount. But instead of typing the value, we can use a cell reference. So let's type in equals H3. From there in cell C14, you need the current balance from the end of the previous month. So that's just going to be whatever the balance is here. Okay, from there, if you flip the page in cell D14, it says enter a formula to compute the interest for that month. And you see where it says interest equals principal times APR divided by 12. So interest equals whatever the principal is, so that value, times. Now there was one value up here in these 5. That was the APR divided by 12. You remember which one it was? The rate. Yep. So we're just going to put the rate in, which would be a 4. But what does that note say on step 8?
It should be specified absolutely.
Specified absolutely. So in other words, what that means, once we figure out what we're doing here in the first row, we're going to be able to copy and drag things down so it just duplicates it. But we don't want this H4 to change at all. So if you don't want it to change or stay the same, we're going to put some $signs here in front of the H and then in front of the 4. So that defines it absolutely there. Hit enter, you should get 904.51. Any questions there? Okay. So then from there, the payment, we know what the payment amount needs to be.
And that's the 1,000.
A 1,507 number. But again, this amount is never going to change. So we'll put some $signs there. So then from there, the new balance is going to be your principal. So C14 plus the interest that you're getting that month. And then what should we do with the payment?
Sum all 3 columns.
Yep, sum all 3 columns. But the idea here, if we would have kept this negative here, then we could have just summed them. But the idea is that this amount is going to help us pay it off, right? So we can just subtract E14. Or if we kept the payment negative up here, then we could have just added all of them. But then after you hit enter, you should have the 176,607 and 12 cents. Any questions on any of those four? Okay, then from here, that was step 11. Now step 12, select cells C14 to F14, which is what we have here. And copy into the remaining cells down to row 193. So to do that, this is going to be kind of precise here. Right at the corner there, where you see that little square, when you have your mouse over it, it should have that kind of cursor. Hold the mouse down, and then you can just drag like this. And then we'll just keep going down to row 193. Once you're there, let go of the mouse. And that will fill in all of the remaining values. Any questions there?
Why 193?
Why 193? So in the case of this file, since we had 180 payments, this column B is the month number. It just so happens that month 180 is in row 193 there. Yeah. Okay. But like when you two do the 30-year one, it'll go beyond 193 then, because you'll have more than 180 payments. Any other questions so far? Okay. Total interest. That would just be adding up all of the values in this column here, right? All the way down to here. So a quick way to do this, equals, if we're just adding everything, that is going to be equal sum, parentheses, that's the first number there, D14. Now, instead of dragging the mouse the whole way down there, we know that the last row we were dealing with was 193. So I can actually just type in colon and then D193, parentheses. So altogether, you're going to be paying $94,000 plus an interest across this loan. And then the total payment, same thing. Oop. Equals the sum of which column now?
E.
E. So E14 all the way to E193. So total payments of $271,330.66. Any questions on any of those? Okay, so then from there, you'll be able to record the values from each of those cells on the sheet there. So H6 looks like 1507.39, or negative if you didn't make that negative function. H8 is the 94,000 number. H9 is the 271,000 number. C39, you can keep scrolling down until you get there. And then D45, same thing if you keep scrolling down to get that value.
I put in the wrong thing.
That's okay. Just see if we got anything from people at home. Okay. 39. Let's see, 39. Yeah. 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 Would you like that positive or?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's pretty much what you'll have to do for the 15-year one. But then what you'll need to do then, the second problem is going to be a 30-year mortgage. You'll just have to click on the other tab down here. That tab right there for 30 years. You'll see a similar looking worksheet. And you'll have to repeat the process, but for 30 years instead of 15. But by following the same steps for problem 2, you will be able to complete the assignment for those of you that are online. And then for the homework, was there a particular problem that you wanted to see?
Not like home commuting, we go, like, this stuff to figure it out, because I'm doing something about the calculation.
Okay. Yeah. So if it helps, I'll just pull one of them up here.
It's like I can fill in. Thing. But every time I calculate it, my answer is wrong.
In 3 or 4? 3? Okay. So let's do this one here. So find the savings plan balance after 3 years with an APR of 6% and monthly payments of $150. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to show the example that they have here with some different numbers. So that's the formula that they're using here to figure out the final value. And this might look kind of strange, but it's actually just the compound interest formula rearranged a little bit. But each of these questions, if you click on the Get More Help and view an example, it'll give you the formulas.
Yeah, I can fill in the formula, but as soon as I like go and actually help you with the formula, that's where something's wrong.
Okay. Yeah. Yep, that does. So, like in the case of this, so you know it would be of this form when plugging it in. So what I'll do here, I'll just go into here and we can take a look at that. So if I were going to calculate this out here, what I would do, 250, then we got 1 plus 0.11 over 12. I would do the exponent first. So 12 times 5 would be, you're good, 60. Minus 1 all over 0.11 over 12. So then what I would do, I would do the 1 plus 0.11 divided by 12 number.
No. 0.0. So whenever I click this one, do I have to use the entire number or can I select?
I would use the whole number. So it's like 0.009166.
One second, I have to look up.
Mm-hmm. But then you can add 1 to that, right? So it should be 1.0091666 repeating. Okay. And if it's repeating there, I can just do that for the notation. The 6 with a bar over it. Raised to the 60th minus 1 all over 0.11 divided by 12. So then what I would do from there is that piece to the 60th power.
One
1.72
891,573.
891,573.
Maybe that's what I was saying, I was simplifying them.
Could be. Because if you round anywhere, because we're multiplying by big numbers, it might throw it off a little bit. But all of that there minus 1 divided by this. So that number minus 1 on the top would be
0.722915. 7305.
And then all of that. Then from here, you can do 0.11 divided by 12.
And that gives you like 0.996.
Yep, 0.009166 repeating. From there, if you do 250 times the 0.72891,573 number on top, I would still keep going with it. So 2289, 326, all over the 0.009166 repeating. So then dividing that all out by that number, $19,800.
93.98828.
Yeah, 'cause I got a different answer when I typed that in.
Hold on. I'm trying to get like 15 years and I'm trying to drag it down and it's not working.
Not working. Okay. That's the only thing there, since we made payment positive, let's just subtract the payment. So then just make sure, whenever you see that there. Okay, so we got something going on here. When you're doing the dollar sign there, you'll need another one in front of the number there. Yeah. And then save with that one. And try putting the dollar sign there. Yeah. There we go. So the balance is going down. So then if you drag that all the way down. There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I
There's
was
one.
wrong. With that,
Yeah,
that also would have an extension on it.
yeah, that's why.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You may just want to send me a message once you're able to get those done. It's all good. 19,879.52, right? And then just to make sure, yeah, that matches up with what they have there.
I couldn't figure out what was going on.
Okay. Yeah, that's the one thing with the homework in this chapter. It's one rounding thing can throw the whole thing off like that. So some of the interest, so it's going to be all of those values. All the way down there. And the payments will work similarly. It'll just be a different column. So I think the only thing, because you did equals and then you went there, you'll need the word sum for the, and then, yeah, and then you can do that. Yeah, so if you go back there. Then when selecting the cells, you actually wouldn't have to go to the corner for that. So it'll be something. So you want payments, right? Yeah. You can actually click the center of it. And then you can drag down from there.
So for the other one,
Mhm.
that's, can we use the Excel sheet for that one? I opened it and I didn't do it.
So this one looks like the tax information.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is going to be like the tax examples that we were doing. But you could use Excel for that homework if you wanted to.
I don't really know how to use
Well, like with that one problem with figuring out the final amount there, you can do compound interest within Excel. Let's see if I can remember the formula here. To do that, it's a future value function. So equals FV. And then all of those same bits of information. But future value will give you the value after doing compound interest. So doing that function there would get you to the same answer.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. I just realized I recorded all that without sharing my screen. So I'm just going to re-record that real quick up here. So if it sounds like I'm talking to myself, that's what I'm doing up here. So I'm just glad I caught it now rather than later. So it happens though, right? Okay, now I'm going to make absolutely sure this is recording now. Okay, we're there. So I'm just going to go through problem number 1 again, now that I actually have a screen that decides to cooperate with me. So the first problem in assignment 7, you're dealing with a house mortgage. House sale price of $196,000. Down payment of 10%. APR of 6.125%. Loan years 15 for the first sheet, 30 for the second one. What I'm going to do here is walk you through the 15-year one, and then we'll have you try the 30-year one on your own. So that's step one, entering the values for the house sale price, down payment percentage, the APR in the blue boxes. The 15 or 30 will be provided for you. Step two, in cell H2, enter a formula to compute the amount of the down payment. That will be equal to the house sale price, D2, times the down payment percentage, D3, to get 19,690. In H3 for step three, enter a formula to compute the amount of your loan. That is going to be equal to the house sale price, D2, minus the down payment amount. It's 177,210. Step four, we can enter a formula to compute the rate per compounding period. So to do that, that is going to be equal to the APR, which is D4, divided by, if we're compounding every month, 12 for the rate. Step 5, in H5, we can enter a formula to get the total number of compounding periods. 12 months in a year for 15 years. So equals 12 times 15. And then for the payment, equals PMT for the payment function, parentheses, the rate, comma, NPER, comma, present value is the loan amount. FV is the amount we wanted to get to, which would be 0. Compounding at the end of the period, we'll do 0 again. To give you a payment amount of $1,507.39. From there, in cell F13, we need to enter the loan amount. So the loan amount will be equals H3. Then we're going to go to cell C14 for the first month. That is going to be our starting principal. So equals F13. In cell D14, we can enter a formula to get the interest, which is going to equal the principal from C14 times APR divided by 12, which is actually going to be your rate value. Note, we want this rate to stay the same always. So we are going to put dollar signs around the H and around the 4, so it does not change ever. Now the payment amount we know is going to be the H6 value, but again, that never changes. So dollar signs everywhere to indicate that it doesn't change. Gives you a payment of $1,507.39. Since I didn't change anything with the sign on it, we can just add up all of these values to get the new balance at the end of the first month. From there, at the very corner here, after selecting all 4 of those cells, we can drag them down. Let go of the mouse. It will put all of these remaining values in there. From there, total interest paid is going to be a sum function of values in column D. So equal sum of D14 colon to D193. And then total payments. The only thing you'll have to do, because all of these are negative here, a negative times a negative is a positive. So I'm just going to do equals negative of the sum of all of these payments. To give you the total payments then. Now, you will have to go through and do this process again for the 30-year mortgage. Exactly the same setup, except you're going to have more months to do this for instead of 180. Once you complete that, you will go into Canvas, into our course shell, and you're going to want to go to assignment 7. It'll be a Canvas quiz. You'll just go in here, and it's going to ask you for the values in specific cells, which is just going to be recording the numbers. You can upload your final Excel sheet on question 11, submit, and you should be good to go. And I'm hoping that this should help here with the screen recording now. So let's see. So this is going to be a 30-year one, right? Yeah. So that should be 30. So the only thing that changes here, instead of 15 years, yeah. So then, so because you made the payment positive, that last one will need to be minus to get the new balance. Yeah. Let's see what happens here. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, the 0.01 is a lot more. That's a big thing.
I do fix this, so I just drag it down.
Yeah, so we did all that so far, right? So let me just keep going. Because you should have had 360, right? 373. 468. Okay. So that's gonna be like another 100 of them. So 488. So it looks like you're down to there.
Okay.